10 of history's dumbest duels. Welcome back to our channel. Today, we're diving into the wacky world of dueling with a countdown of 10 of history's dumbest duels. From trivial disagreements to downright ridiculous reasons, these duels prove that sometimes pride leads us to absurdity. Let's get started. 1. In 1852, a peculiar duel unfolded in Paris between two gentlemen who argued over the superiority of their hats. Each armed with pistols, they prepared to settle the dispute in a dramatic fashion. However, as the tension built, the absurdity of their situation became apparent. Instead of a fierce battle, the duel concluded without serious injuries, leaving both men red-faced and embarrassed. Their quest for fashion dominance turned into a humorous spectacle, highlighting the triviality of their disagreement. Ultimately, the duel served as a reminder of how far people can go over seemingly insignificant matters, transforming a serious confrontation into a light-hearted moment in the annals of history. 2. In 1830, a comical duel known as the Duel of the Bells took place between two southern women vying for the affections of a gentleman. Armed with pistols, the ladies faced off, each determined to win his heart. However, in a surprising turn of events, both women missed their shots entirely, transforming the intense duel into a farcical spectacle. Instead of the expected drama, the scene erupted in laughter, as onlookers realized the absurdity of the situation. The duel, intended to showcase their resolve, instead highlighted the ridiculousness of their rivalry. In the end, the encounter fostered humor and camaraderie rather than conflict, leaving a lasting memory of a light-hearted competition over love. 3. In 1900, two political rivals in the US decided to settle their feud in an unconventional manner, a tomato duel. What began as a serious confrontation quickly devolved into a comical scene. Armed with ripe tomatoes, the men faced off in the streets, but neither could maintain their composure. Instead of strategic throws, they ended up hurling tomatoes wildly, resulting in a chaotic mess. Both rivals were soon covered in pulp, with laughter echoing around them. The absurdity of the situation transformed their conflict into a light-hearted spectacle, drawing a crowd of amused onlookers. Ultimately, the Great Tomato Duel became a memorable event, illustrating how rivalries can sometimes yield unexpected joy rather than animosity. 4. In 1880, a trivial misunderstanding sparked an unexpected duel between two gentlemen in England. Initially, the disagreement seemed significant, fueled by a series of awkward exchanges that escalated tensions. Armed and ready to defend their honor, the men faced each other. But as the duel commenced, it quickly became clear that their conflict was rooted in a simple miscommunication. After exchanging a few minor injuries, both men paused, recognizing the absurdity of their situation. The realization brought a wave of regret, as they understood how foolish their choices had been. Ultimately, the duel ended without further harm, serving as a poignant reminder of how easily misunderstandings can spiral into conflict, prompting reflection on the value of clear communication. 5. In 1890, two mustachioed gentlemen in France found themselves at odds, convinced that their facial hair was superior. Driven by pride, they decided to settle the debate with a duel, armed with swords. What was intended to be a serious confrontation soon transformed into a comedic spectacle. As they clashed, their exaggerated movements and the absurdity of the situation turned the duel into a farce. Both men ended up bruised from their antics, but rather than anger, laughter filled the air. The crowd watched in amusement as the duelists realized the ridiculousness of their rivalry. In the end, the Duel of the Mustaches became a humorous tale, celebrating the lighter side of competition over mere aesthetics. 6. In 1895, two French authors, each convinced of their literary superiority, opted for an unconventional resolution to their dispute, a duel of poetry. Instead of swords or pistols, they wielded pens, ready to showcase their skills. The atmosphere was charged with creativity as they composed verses on the spot, transforming their rivalry into a lively and friendly competition. Laughter echoed as each poet attempted to outdo the other with clever wordplay and imaginative rhymes. The duel, intended to settle their differences, instead fostered camaraderie and mutual respect. In the end, both writers left the encounter feeling uplifted, proving that creativity can triumph over conflict and that rivalry can lead to unexpected joy in the literary world. 7. In 1905, in a small American town, two friends found themselves at odds after losing a bet. Rather than settling their disagreement quietly, they whimsically decided to duel using rubber chickens. What began as a light-hearted showdown quickly escalated into a full-blown food fight, with laughter erupting from onlookers. As the two friends swung their rubber chickens, they couldn't help but crack jokes, further fueling the hilarity of the situation. The absurdity of the duel turned their conflict into a memorable spectacle, where seriousness was replaced by fun. In the end, both friends emerged covered in laughter and food, realizing that their playful confrontation was far more enjoyable than any traditional duel could have been. 8. In 1897, two Englishmen engaged in a lively argument over whose beard was the most impressive. Unable to reach a consensus, they decided to settle the dispute with a duel using combs. What began as a competitive face-off quickly transformed into a light-hearted grooming session as they styled one another's magnificent facial hair. Laughter replaced rivalry, and the atmosphere became jovial. Each man admired the other's beard, realizing the absurdity of their initial competition. The duel, meant to determine superiority, instead became a celebration of their shared passion for beards. In the end, both men left with well-groomed whiskers and a newfound friendship, proving that sometimes playful rivalry can lead to unexpected connections and joy. 9. In 1938, two Italian cheesemakers found themselves in a heated dispute over whose cheese reigned supreme. Rather than resorting to traditional weapons, they decided to duel using cheese wheels. What began as a serious competition quickly devolved into a chaotic and hilarious cheese fight, with wheels rolling and cheese flying everywhere. Laughter erupted from onlookers as the two men playfully dodged and tossed their dairy creations. Amid the mess, they both realized the joy of cheese making was far greater than their rivalry. In a surprising turn, the duel transformed into a collaborative effort, with both cheesemakers combining their talents to create a new, delectable cheese. Ultimately, the event fostered friendship and unity, highlighting the power of creativity over conflict. 10. In 1970, in a lively bar, two men found themselves embroiled in a heated debate over whose nose was larger. Unable to resolve the argument verbally, they humorously decided to settle the matter with a duel using measuring tapes. Instead of a serious confrontation, they took turns measuring each other's noses, while laughter filled the air. As they compared their measurements, the atmosphere lightened, and their rivalry transformed into a playful exchange. Each man offered compliments about the other's unique features, recognizing the absurdity of their initial dispute. In the end, what began as a competitive duel turned into a friendly bonding experience, highlighting that sometimes, even the silliest arguments can lead to unexpected camaraderie and joy. In these duels, histories show that human pride can lead to some truly ridiculous situations. Whether over fashion, food, or facial hair, these absurd confrontations remind us that sometimes it's better to laugh than to fight. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. See you next time.